If you own a Toyota hybrid, there is something happening at charging stations and gas stops right now that is quietly damaging your high-voltage battery, your inverter, and your hybrid control system, and almost nobody talks about it. After years of working on Toyota hybrids, from the Prius to the RAV4 hybrid, the Highlander hybrid, and the Camry hybrid, I have seen the same expensive mistakes repeated over and over by good people who simply never knew better. So in this video, I am going to walk you through exactly what you should never do at a charging stop or a fuel stop, and why these small habits cost owners thousands of dollars in repairs that were completely avoidable. Let's get into it. The first thing you should never do is treat your standard Toyota hybrid like it is a plug-in. This is the single biggest source of confusion I see. There are two very different kinds of Toyota hybrids on the road. The regular hybrid, like most versions of the Prius, the Camry hybrid, the Corolla hybrid, and the standard RAV4 hybrid, never gets plugged in. Ever. These vehicles charge their high-voltage battery, which sits under the rear seat or in the cargo area depending on the model, entirely through the engine and through regenerative braking. There is no charging port, and there is nothing you need to do at any charging station. The plug-in versions like the Prius Prime and the RAV4 Prime have a charge port door, usually on the front fender or on the rear quarter panel. Those are the only Toyotas you actually plug in. The mistake happens when an owner of a standard hybrid pulls up to a public charger thinking they are supposed to charge it, gets confused, and sometimes even calls for service. Worse, some owners start worrying their battery is broken because it never seems to charge the way an electric car does. It is not broken. It was never designed to plug in. Understanding which Toyota you actually own saves you stress, time, and unnecessary panic. The next thing you should never do, and this one applies to Prius Prime and RAV4 Prime owners, is yank the charging connector out of the charge port while the system is still actively charging or still locked. The charge port on a plug-in Toyota has a locking mechanism and a communication link between the car and the charging station. When charging is in progress, that connector is electronically latched in place for safety because high voltage is flowing through it. Forcing it out or pulling hard when it feels stuck can damage the locking pins inside the charge port, strain the connector, and in some cases trigger fault codes in the onboard charger. The correct sequence is always to stop the charging session first, either through the charging station screen, the Toyota app, or by unlocking the car, and then wait for the connector to release. Many owners get impatient, especially in cold weather when the latch can take an extra second, and they pull the cable like they are starting a lawnmower. That connector and that charge port are expensive, and the onboard charging module behind them is far more expensive. A 2-second pause prevents a very large bill. Something else you should never do is leave your plug-in Toyota sitting at a public DC fast charger or charging stall long after charging has finished. Now, here's an important detail. The Prius Prime and most RAV4 Prime models charge using Level 1 and Level 2 AC charging, not DC fast charging. So this applies mostly to the newer plug-in models that support faster charging and to shared charging etiquette in general. But beyond the courtesy of not blocking a charger other drivers are waiting for, there's a real reason to move your car. Leaving a hybrid battery sitting fully charged at maximum state of charge for long periods, especially in hot weather, places thermal and chemical stress on the lithium-ion cells. Toyota's battery management system does an excellent job protecting the pack, but the healthiest place for any hybrid battery to live is in the middle of its charge range, not pinned at 100% in the sun. Unplugging and driving shortly after a full charge is simply better for the long-term health of that very expensive battery pack. Here's a mistake I see constantly at gas stations, and it applies to every single Toyota hybrid on the road. Never leave the vehicle in the ready state while you refuel. When you start a Toyota hybrid and you see the green ready light on the dashboard, that means the hybrid system is live and the car can move and operate at any moment, even if the gasoline engine is silent and you hear nothing. This silence fools people. Owners coming from a regular gas car are used to hearing an idling engine, so when a hybrid goes quiet, they assume it's off and they get out to pump fuel while the system is still active. The car should always be fully powered down, with the engine and hybrid system off and the key clear of the vehicle, before you open the fuel door and refuel. Refueling with the system in ready mode is both a safety issue and a strain on the system. Power it down completely. It takes one button press, and it's the right way to do it every time. While we're talking about fuel stops, here's another one you should never do. Never top off the fuel tank after the pump automatically clicks off. This applies to your Prius, your Camry hybrid, your RAV4 hybrid, every gas-burning Toyota. Toyota hybrids use a sealed and pressurized evaporative emissions system, and that system includes a charcoal canister designed to capture fuel vapors. When you keep squeezing the pump handle to round up the dollar amount or cram in a little more fuel after it clicks off, you can force liquid gasoline into the vapor lines and saturate that charcoal canister. A saturated canister commonly triggers the check engine light, and it can cause a failed evaporative system code that leads owners straight to a repair shop. Replacing that canister and the associated parts is not cheap. When the pump clicks off, you are done. That click is the system telling you the tank is full. Respect it, and you will avoid one of the most common and most avoidable check engine lights on hybrid vehicles. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Another habit to break is never refuel or charge with the wrong fuel or the wrong assumptions about what your hybrid takes. Standard Toyota hybrids run on regular unleaded gasoline, and putting in premium does nothing but waste your money in almost every case, since these engines are tuned for regular. But the more serious version of this mistake is at the pump itself, where a distracted driver grabs the diesel nozzle, which is often green and sits right alongside the gasoline pumps at many American stations. Diesel in a Toyota hybrid gasoline engine is a catastrophic mistake that can require draining the entire fuel system and, if the car is started, serious repairs to the fuel pump and injectors. A charging stop or fuel stop is not the place to be rushing on autopilot. Confirm the nozzle, confirm the grade, and pay attention to what you are putting into a very sophisticated machine. Here is one that surprises people. Never ignore the high voltage warning labels and orange cables if you ever have the hood up or the cargo area open at a stop. Toyota color codes every high voltage component in bright orange, the thick orange cables, the orange covers over the inverter, and the high voltage connections. The inverter, which sits in the engine bay on most models and converts the battery's direct current into the alternating current that drives the electric motors, carries enough voltage to seriously injure or kill a person. Some owners, trying to be helpful at a stop or curious after a warning light, start poking around under the hood near these components. Never touch anything orange. There is no owner-serviceable high-voltage part under there. If you are checking your washer fluid or your 12-volt battery, stay well clear of the orange cabling. This is one of those rules where the consequence is not a repair bill. It is your safety, and it is worth saying plainly. Speaking of the 12-volt battery, here is a mistake that strands more hybrid owners than almost anything else. Never assume your hybrid cannot have a dead 12-volt battery just because the big high-voltage pack is healthy. Every Toyota hybrid has a separate small 12-volt battery located in the engine bay or in the rear cargo area depending on the model. That little battery powers up the computers and closes the relays that connect the main hybrid battery. If the 12-volt battery dies, for example because a door was left ajar overnight or a light was left on, the car will not enter the ready state at all, no matter how much charge is in the big battery. I have watched people panic at a parking spot or a charging stall thinking their expensive hybrid battery failed when it was the cheap 12-volt battery all along. Knowing this turns a roadside crisis into a simple jump start of the 12-volt system, exactly like you would do with any conventional car using the designated jump points Toyota provides under the hood. One more for the plug-in owners. Never use a damaged, frayed, or sketchy charging cable, and never run your Prius Prime or RAV4 Prime charger through a daisy chain of cheap extension cords or unrated power strips. The charging equipment that came with your plug-in Toyota is designed to safely manage a continuous high current draw for hours at a time. A worn extension cord or an undersized adapter can overheat, melt, and create a genuine fire risk, and it can damage the onboard charger in the process. If you're charging at home or at a public station, inspect the cable and the connector for cracks, burn marks, or bent pins before you plug in. If something looks wrong, do not use it. The few dollars saved by abusing a cheap cord are nothing compared to the cost of the onboard charging module or, far worse, a garage fire. And here's the last thing you should never do, and it ties everything together. Never let confusion or impatience rush you at a charging or fuel stop, because that rushing is what causes nearly every mistake on this list. The pump clicks off and you squeeze it anyway. The connector feels stuck and you yank it. The car is silent, so you assume it's off. You grab the wrong nozzle because you're in a hurry. Toyota engineered these hybrids to be some of the most reliable and longest-lasting vehicles on the road, with battery systems and drivetrains designed to run for hundreds of thousands of miles. The thing that undermines all of that engineering isn't the technology. It's a moment of haste. Slow down at the stop. Power the car down completely. Confirm what you're doing before you do it. These vehicles reward the calm, informed owner with years of trouble-free driving, and they quietly punish the rushed one with bills that never had to happen. Every habit I've covered here protects one of three things that decide how long your hybrid survives: the health of the high-voltage battery, the integrity of the fuel and emission system, and your own personal safety. Keep those three protected, and your Toyota hybrid will run beautifully for far longer than you might expect. If you are enjoying this video, consider watching this one where I'm sharing the settings that are silently draining your Toyota hybrid battery.